El siguiente programa es apto para todos, no contiene escenas de sexo ni de violencia. Los menores de edad deben estar acompañados de un adulto responsable.
Welcome my friends, how are you today? Do you guess what we're going to talk about? Of course you know. Today we're going to talk about food, okay? My name is Juan Pablo Figueroa and thank you very much for being in my classes on the way to English. Today I'm going to be once again your English teacher, and once again we are going to learn more about this beautiful language. So I am hosting this program, and I hope that today you are going to learn something new which you are going to use in your life. So my friends, They already know what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about food. So let me explain something about this. Actually, what I want to explain to you is not how to cook. No, I'm not going to explain to you how to cook today. I'm going to teach you just the grains, I will say, los granos, lo voy a enseñar granos en inglés. I'm going to teach you vegetables in English, as you say here, to have different kind of grains. I'm going to teach you vegetables, and I don't have a here. I don't have a fridge, so I was thinking about what I'm going to put inside. So I don't have a fridge. Here I don't have a fridge for the meat. So today we have food. So the meat is going to be explained just by picture, but everybody knows meat. So let's begin by part. So, as I told you, today I'm going to explain to you, or much better, I'm going to teach you how to say some of the most important words in English. Maybe I think that in other classes we can do something more active. I mean, we can have a recipe or something like that. Podemos tener recetas o algo. But in this first level, en este primer nivel, let's start. It's just enough that we know some of the names of these grains. So you see the grains here, and I can see also grains. But what is the name of these grains? How we say these grains in English? So I want to begin with the grains that we consume the most here. Normally in Antioquia we consume a lot of rice. You know, rice. This is rice. Excuse me, this is not rice, this is beans. In Antioquia we consume beans, right? These are the beans. So, everybody eats beans. So, you can say that I like eating bean soup. You pronounce U. I like eating bean soup. Me gusta comer frijoles. Because this is just the grains. But in the recipe, we have to add, tenemos que añadir la palabra soup para decir, me gusta comer frijoles, sopa, en inglés, sopa de frijoles. But we say, yes, nosotros solamente decimos soup. Another important part is that this kind of grains. You see, this grain, as you see, is rice. Rice. I like to eat rice. Rice is those kind of grains we consume the most. El arroz es lo que nosotros más consumimos. So, this is the beans and this is the rice. Then, let's continue with other grains that we use in our daily life. Some people like to eat lentils. You see, we have lentils. Lentils are lentejas. As you see here, we have lentils, lenteja. For example, you can say, I like eating lentil soup. You can say, me gusta consumir las lentejas. Normally, people who are vegetarian like to eat lentil, vegetarian. People who are vegetarian people like eaten lentil soup. Other kind of grains that most people like. So remember, we have beans, frijoles, we have rice, arroz, then we have lentils, lentejas, right? Normally, people like to eat peas, arvejas. Here we see peas. Peas are arvejas, you know. Arvejas are delicious. Most people in Colombia like eating peas, or I mean, here in our town, a lot of people like to eat peas. That is, peas is arvejas, right? So you can also write, I like eating pea soup. Me gusta comer la sopa de arvejas normally. Also we have another important, we have chickpeas, you know here, chickpeas, we have chickpeas. We have here chickpeas. This is a kind of grain mostly people like consuming, the chickpeas, right? So I'm going to write it here, and I'm going to show also the chickpeas. These are chickpeas. I like eating. I can say also that vegetarian people like eating lentil soup and chickpea soup, right? They like to eat chickpea soup, right? Chickpea soup. You can say that, excuse me. Chickpea soup. Right? So, remember, beans, rice, lentils, chickpeas, and peas. Those kind of grains also, in a time, our grandmother or our grandparents used to use a lot of corn. You know, they used to solían usar corn, principle much better for feeding the chicken, the hens. They use corn. Or sometimes we also use corn through a process we use it to make cornbread. So this is corn. Here we have corn, right? So corn, we can say that corn is used for human consuming or consumption. Corn for chickens sometimes, or hens. They feed the chicken or the hens using corn, or in Colombia especially we make cornbread, or we bake cornbread. People hace lo que llamamos cornbread, las arepas paisas, corn bread. But as I told at the beginning, this is not a class of cooking. This is just a class to know how to name in English these grains. And the other grain is barley, la cebada, barley. You see, barley is so tiny, so small. We have here barley. I'm going to write here barley, right? So we have barley. You pronounce E, barley, cebada. Barley is another kind of grain that normally we like or people like to use in their consumption, whatever. So now you're going to see rice, beans, lentils, peas, chickpeas, corn, and barley. There are more grains. We are not so much familiar with them, but I'm going to show you another kind of grains. We have also the soybeans. Vegetarian people like to consume soybeans. Let's try a sentence using soybeans. Vegetarian people like eating soybean soup. Soybean soup, or normally we say soybeans when referring soybeans when we are referring to soya, right? Another kind of grains that people like is, we can know today, is rice, centeno. We can have rice. I don't have the picture right here, but you can be familiar with rice according to your interests. So I'm going to repeat again this grain. Remember, we just have to know how to name in English these different kind of grains. In this first part of the class, or in this first level, it's not that we're going to learn how to cook or how to cook with grains. En esta parte solamente debemos conocer los nombres. En clases más superiores se enseña ya recipes using this. So here we have again some of the grains. So here we have the corn. We have corn here, corn. Then we have, there's another grains that is here. We have oats, you know. We have oats, lo que llamamos avena, oats. Another grain, oats. Oats is avena, right? And we have, this is oat, right? So we have corn, we have rice. We have also, they could be wheat, right? And different kind of grains we can use in our daily life. Let's put it here again. So the grain that, excuse me, this is referring only to the grains. As you see, the grains that we have here, and then we come back here to this poster. Here we have rice, repeat rice. Let's repeat beans, then lentils. Then we have corn, we have peas, arvejas. We have soybeans, soya. We have wheat. Remember this pronunciation. Wheat, like white, wheat, dry, centeno, barley, cebada. We have chickpeas, garbanzos. Okay, let's repeat in your house. Repeat, please. Rice, beans, lentils, corn, peas, soybeans, wheat, dry, dry. Barley, barley. Chickpeas, chickpeas. You see here the translation at each of this one. So one question now is, where do you get the grains? Of course, we get the grains in the supermarket. But how do they sell the grains? ¿Cómo los compramos? We buy these by pounds. So we're going to have two questions about the grains, okay? So the next question we're going to have is, where do we buy the grains? I'm going to write that. And how do we buy the grains? And also another question, how much is a pound of rice? How much is a pound of beans? So I'm going to explain you these three questions for the grains. Let's go to the board, please. So the first question is, where do you get or where do you buy grains? Where do you buy grains? We buy grains. ¿Dónde compra usted los granos? You say, if I asking you, where do you buy grains? The answer is, I buy grains. Yo compro granos at the supermarket. Also, at the grocery store. You can say also at the grocery store. So you can say, I buy grains at the grocery store. Those stores we see in every corner. You can say we can buy grains in las tiendas, we say grocery store. But another question is, how do you buy the grains? I mean, by pounds? Of course, by pounds. So the question is, pounds, we use pound. I can say, for example, how much is a pound? We pronounce ow. How much is a pound of rice? Y usted puede decir, ¿cuánto vale una libra de arroz? Normally, a pound of rice could be, a pound of rice is, here you put the price. Aquí usted puede colocar el precio. Whether or not you know, it could be 200,000 a pound, or it could be 300,000, or according to the quality of the rice. Also, you can say, how much is a pound of beans? How much is a pound of beans? I am asking you the question, yo le estoy haciendo a usted la pregunta. Entonces usted dice, a pound of beans is, you know, there are beans of different quality. Hay beans de diferentes cualidades. Let's put it a price that a pound of beans could be 4,000 pesos. And we continue asking questions with the others. Now let's do it orally. Let's go back to the poster. I can say, or I can ask you, how much is a pound of lentils? You just give it a price. A pound of lentil is, how much is a pound of corn? How much is a pound of peas? How much is a pound of soybeans? How much is a pound of wheat? How much is And you continue, how much is a pound of chickpeas? So the grains, we just buy the grains by pounds, right? By pounds. As I told you, there are different prices according to the quality of the grains. We have different prices. So this is an exercise that is very important that you do. You pronounce slowly, how much is a pound of rice? ¿Cuánto vale una libra de arroz? How much is a pound of beans? And on, and you can practice. Now, let's continue with the other subject. Okay, my friends. Now let's continue with vegetables. I'm going to explain to you, I'm going to teach you some other vegetables that most of we consume. Of course, there are more vegetables, claro que hay más vegetales. But let's go to explain, let's go to learn some of the vegetables that we use and that we see every day. Vamos a los vegetales más comunes. First of all, I'm going to choose the vegetable and I'm going to do you an exercise in which you continue writing in your house the name of the vegetable, English and Spanish. Here I have most of the vegetables that most of us know. So let's begin with some of this vegetable. How do you call this vegetable in English? We call it carrot. We call it carrot, okay? These are carrots. I'm going to show you. Carrot. These are carrots, right? Then, another vegetable, just for the names, just to be familiar with the names. Why we call this in English? We call this beets, but it's not my heart beats. It's the same pronunciation. This is beets. Beets in English is remolachas. We have beets. Repeat, beets. Beets, right? Then we have more vegetables. We have these tomatoes. Here we have tomatoes, right? We have tomatoes. How we write that? We say tomatoes. Let's put it here. Tomatoes. Then we have after tomatoes, we have also potatoes. You see here, potatoes. Potatoes, right? Repeat, potatoes. It's the last two words have pronunciations so similar when we say tomatoes and we say potato. This is our potatoes, right? We have potatoes. Let's continue with more vegetable I have, this is, everybody knows, this is cabbage. Repeat, cabbage. Cabbage, a head of cabbage, I would say in English. Un repollo, generalmente decimos en inglés, dicen una cabeza de repollo, pero un repollo they say a head of cabbage. This is cabbage, a head of cabbage. So cabbage is repollo. So similar for the salad, we have this. Let me show you cabbage, right? This is cabbage, right? Then let me show you lettuce. This is lettuce. Repeat, lettuce, lettuce. Lettuce, delicious. I personally like lettuce. Just say how to pronounce, how to write, lettuce, right? Let's continue with another kind of vegetable. After lettuce, we have avocado. Here we have two beautiful green avocados. We call it avocados, right? Avocados, aguacates. Here I have two avocados. Okay? Now let's continue with, after avocados, we have garlic. This is a bulb of garlic, right? Garlic, ajo. Here we have Garlic is ajo, garlic, as you see garlic. Some people don't like garlic, but other people like garlic, ajo, garlic, okay? After garlic, I'm going to teach you onion. In English, to say cebolla, we say two different words, because in Spanish we say cebolla. But in English we have cebolla de huevo. Normally, cebolla de huevo, we call it onion. This is cebolla de huevo, and then we call it onion. Onion, right? Onion. Onion is cebolla de huevo. Onion, okay? Onion. But this kind of cebolla, in English we say scallions. Scallion. We can buy it by the bags, or we can buy it by bunches, a bunch of scallion. We say scallions. Or if you want, buy just one, you can get one in the supermarket, you get a piece of scallion. So these are scallions. Scallions, as you see, scallion is cebolla de rama. Also, another way to say scallions, repeat, scallions, otra forma de decir cebolla larga o cebolla de rama is green onion. I'm going to write that. We say green onion, or they're saying that scallions. Right? Let's continue. Then we have this one, we call it eggplant. Eggplant is berenjena. Repeat, eggplant. Eggplant. We call it berenjena, eggplant, okay? At the eggplant, we also have more. I'm going to explain you parsley. Normally, American people confuse parsley with coriander. Los americanos consumen muchas veces parsley, pues parsley es perejil, lo confunden con coriander, con cilantro, because they are so similar. Here we have a bunch of coriander, but here we have a bunch of cilantro, right? So let's put it here. So it's confusing to some American. More of the American people in the United States, they consume parsley. Mayormente consumen mucho parsley, right? But sometimes they confuse it with coriander. I'm going to write it. Coriander. 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 You can buy by the bags, or you can buy a bunch of coriander. I can say a bunch of coriander. A bunch of. But in the supermarket, you get it by bag. You can say a bag of coriander. Or a bag of parsley, or a bag of scallions. In the supermarket, you can get it by bags. En el supermercado en los Estados Unidos, usted lo puede obtener por bag, right? Here in a stand, you can get it by by bunch. This is a bunch. Okay, give me a bunch of coriander. So listen, it's so different, mainly in the taste, right? This is parsley. This is parsley, what we call perejil, and this is coriander, what we call cilantro. It's very important to know the difference because there is so much confusion. There is so much confusion in this kind of vegetable. Then we have here apio. Apio in English we say celery. Apio, celery. You can say a bunch of celery. You can say a bag or celery in the supermarket, or give me a piece of celery if you can get it. So the pronunciation of celery, who is apio, is this celery. So celery is apio. So there is another that people like to consume, another vegetable. Here we have a cucumber, pepino, right? Cucumber, a cucumber. You say a cucumber is, you can just say, give me a cucumber, right? Cucumber. Very good. So let's go that and see again all this kind of vegetable that we have. And in this picture also we have many vegetables. I have also vegetables here in this picture. Some of these vegetables are here and other of these vegetables are not here. For example, we can see here like this. Number 14, we have a cob of corn, la mazorca, a cob of corn, right? Cob of corn. So here we have a cob of corn. Also, as you see, a cob of corn, excuse me, it was upside down, excuse me. So this is a cob of corn. So we have the garlic, we have the tomatoes, so we have the, excuse me, we have the lettuce. So we have also here the string beans, which I noticed is in here in this table. We have here string beans. Lo que decimos judías, right? String beans, or más better, habichuelas, right? So here we have so in this picture we see so much, we see so beautiful, and we see just different kind of vegetable. Let's go back to our poster. So here we have again, I am going to repeat the pronunciation of this vegetable so that you will learn it. Vamos a repetir la pronunciación para que la aprenda mejor. Está en inglés y en español. Carrots, beets, tomatoes, potatoes, cabbage. Repeat, cabbage. This pronounced E, cabbage. We have lettuce. You pronounce E, lettuce, lechuga, avocado, garlic, onion, green onion, cucumber, eggplant, parsley. Remember, parsley is confused with coriander. This is coriander, cilantro, but this is parsley, which is perejil, right? It's so confused with people. People is confused this, and we have again, let's repeat the parsley, put it here. We have the eggplant, la berenjena, as I told you. Here we can hear again, when I put it again, yes, just to remember, eggplant. We had the eggplant, la berenjena, eggplant. Then we have radish. I'm going to show you the radish here again. This is the radish. Radish. I have one radish here. I have one radish here. So radish. And finally, we have celery. Celery, el apio. So this is the celery. So now we have celery, apio. So we're going to do some question about how to use this in a real life situation. Some question, okay? Not many, but some question. Let's go back to the board. So I can say, where do you buy vegetables? Where do you buy vegetables? So I can say that if I asking you, si yo le pregunto, where do you buy vegetables? Remember the pronunciation, vegetables, A, balls. Vegetables, right? Vegetables. What do you buy? Vegetable, veg. Repeat, veg. Vegetables. I buy vegetables. The answer is, I buy vegetables at the supermarket. See me? Market, supermarket, the vegetable stand, the vegetable shop, like to say, and at the vegetable stand. Vegetable stand, puesto de vegetales, de verduras. As you see in the park, there are many, there are about 4 or 3 vegetable stands. Also, you can say, if you want to find out about prices, you can say, how much is a pound of vegetable? How much is, let's do these exercises about prices. I can also say, of course, when you go to a supermarket, you don't say that. But sometimes you have to use it. Cuando vamos a un supermercado, you just pick it up and you pay, okay? En un supermercado simplemente lo coge y paga. But sometimes we have to use the language. Sometimes you have to say, ¿y cuánto vale eso? And you say, how much is? How much? This is much. How much is, for example, how much is a pound of potatoes? You can say a pound of potato is, a pound of potatoes is, you put it a price. Usted le coloca un precio, whatever, according to the quality of the potato. You also can say, how much is a head of cabbage? How much is a head of cabbage? Normally we said a head. This is my head, right? I had a cabbage, una repollo. So you can say, I had a cabbages. I had a cabbage is, let's put it a price. Just say that I have a cabbage is 1,000 pesos. 1,000. 1,000 pesos. And then, if you want to buy a piece of scallion, you say how much is a piece of scallion, or how much is a bag of scallions, or how much is a bunch of scallion, right? So you just continue doing or asking the same question. So you just have to practice how much is that, okay? So my friends, are you tired? Are you tired of eating carrots, whatever? You are not tired of this class, of course. Okay, let's go to the last part of the class. What do we see here? I told you, I see here meat, but I also see fish. So here we have fish, here we have beef, and here we have pork. So in English, la carne de res y la carne de cerdo es diferente. En inglés, carne de res, we say beef. They sell it by the pounds, lo venden por libras. La carne de cerdo, we say pork. They sell it by the pounds, lo venden por libras. A pound of pork, as you see, this is pork, this is beef, this is beef, and this is chicken. There is another kind of meat that we don't consume in here. Otra carne que no consumimos es, and we have veal, carne de ternera, right? We have veal. It has to be delicious, but here we don't consume that. Also we have another kind of, let me explain, another kind of meat we use. Normally we call it, in English, ground beef. Ground beef is carne molida. You can buy by the pounds also ground beef. It's delicious for the people who like to eat ground beef. Sometimes we need other kind of meat. We say spare ribs, costilla de cerdo. But these spare ribs son costillas de cerdo, pero no muy abundantes. Costillas de cerdo. De no mucha carne, por eso se dice spare ribs. Solomillo we have sirloin steak. Sirloin steak. This is a kind of de corte, but normally we don't have it here, but they call it T-bone steak. Filete de cerdo de res, right? We have pork chops. Pork chops are chuleta de cerdo. We say pork chops. People like eating pork chops. Then we have beef tenderloin steak, porque es un filete de lomo muy tierno. In English we say beef tenderloin steak. So let's repeat this kind of meat. Repeat. Beef, as you say here, pork, veal, sirloin steak, spare ribs, ground beef, T-bone steak, pork chops, beef tenderloin steak, right? So you take notation and you go over and over this kind of meat, so you learn it by heart. Lo aprende de memoria. So take notation. At least, according to linguists, we need about 17 repetitions to learn a new word in another language. Normalmente hay que hacer 17 repeticiones o actividades para aprender un idioma. So you in your houses, you at home, you just take notation and you just go over and over this kind of meat to learn. We also have, when we have chicken, we also have chicken breast, que es la pechuga, chicken breast. We use bacon, tocino, also is the meat of the pork, tocino. Here there is no bacon. This is tocino. We have ham, jamón, sausage. Here I have no sausage, que son las salchichas. And finally we have fish. This is the most common meat that we consume. So let's repeat one more time. Repeat in the house with me. Meat, beef, pork, veal, sirloin steak, spare ribs, ground beef, pork chops, beef tenderloin steak, chicken breast, es la pechuga de pollo, chicken breast, bacon. You see the translation here, English and Spanish, right? You take notation, ham, sausage and fish. Finally, let's finish the class with the question. Let's go back to the question. Where do you buy meat? Of course, we buy meat at the supermarket. At the supermarket. We buy meat at the supermarket. Here's supermarket. We buy meat at the butchery or the butcher. It's another way to say butchery or the butchers. How much is a pound of beef? A pound of beef is about 8,000 pesos. You write thousand, mil. 8,000, 8,000. And how much is a pound of pork? A pound of pork is 9,000 pesos. So you just keep giving a price. According to the quality of the meat, you can buy the meat you like. So thank you, my friends, for the class, and I hope you are going to eat a lot of meat or a lot of vegetable. You're going to eat a lot of corn. Bye!